Hari Om. We shall chant from verse number 13. चातुर्वर्ण्यं मया सृष्टं गुणकर्म विभागशः तस्य कर्तारमपि मां विद्यकर्तारमव्ययम् न मां कर्माणि लिम्पन्ति न मे कर्मफले स्पृहा इति मां योऽभिजानाति कर्मभिर्न स बध्यते एवं ज्ञात्वा कृतं कर्म पूर्वैरपि मुमुक्षुभिः कुरु कर्मैव तस्मात् त्वं पूर्वै पूर्वतरं कृतं किं कर्म किमकर्मेति कवयोऽप्यत्र मोहिताः तत्ते कर्म प्रवक्ष्यामि यज्ञात्वा मोक्ष्यसे शुभात् कर्मणो ह्यपि बोद्धव्यं च विकर्मणः अकर्मणश्च बोद्धव्यम् गहना कर्मणो गतिः कर्मण्यकर्म यः पश्येत् अकर्मणि च कर्म यः स बुद्धिमान् मनुष्येषु स युक्तः कृष्णकर्मकृत्. So Bhagwan, he says that in this Manushya Loka, he has created this Varnashrama Vyavastha so that everyone can perform their karma and fulfill their desires and ultimately attain the final goal of self-realization. Thereafter Bhagwan says that this karma don't bind me because I don't have the sense of doership and there is no attachment to the karma phala. And one who understands this, one who knows this, one who becomes free of the sense of doership and become free of the attachment to the results of action also becomes free. So Bhagwan tells Arjuna that you perform this karma as it was performed by mumukshus in the past and who have attained that freedom. So you also follow that path because this karma is very difficult to comprehend. So take help of others who have followed this path. Also take help of the scriptures and follow sincerely this path and attain that freedom. Bhagwan says, I will tell you the secret of this karma. There are certain things which we have to understand about karma. One is, what is karma? What is vikarma? What are the karma which one should avoid? And what is the meaning of akarma, non-action? But instead of going into details about what is this karma, akarma, Bhagwan reveals the ultimate secret of this karma, that one who comes to comprehend that akarma atma, while all the karmas are happening, one who comes to realize that atma becomes free. So that is the words which we were seeing yesterday. Ki karmani akarma yah paschet, akarmani cha karma yah sabuddhiman manusheshu sayukta krishna karma krita. That one who sees non-action in action and one who sees action in non-action is a buddhiman person. But this is a viparita, this is a opposite type of statement, that how can one see inaction in action. But here through this Bhagavan is indicating that Supreme Self. So when I am living in this world and I have this sense of doership, there are two things involved. One is that I, and one is something different than I. When I am saying I am walking, I am talking, there is action happening, but the actions are happening in the upadhis, in the prakriti, not in the atma, not in me, but it is happening in prakriti. So I am there and this prakriti is there, which not only has transformed into this vast world, but that prakriti has also transformed into our upadhis. Upadhis means our gross physical body is made up of this prakriti, and our subtle body is also made up of prakriti. The organs of action, perception, the antakarana, chatushtaya, all of them are made up of prakriti. And I am different from this prakriti. That I is also called Purusha. So that Purusha is different from Prakriti, but now at present that Purusha is associated with the Prakriti from beginningless time. From beginningless time we are associated with our Sukshma Sharir. The gross body keeps on changing. Every time we take birth, we get a new gross body, which we can then use, and then it is dropped, then again another gross body. And depending on the gross body, the Sukshma Sharir also takes the form like. It doesn't matter. An elephant can die to become an ant can die to become a human being. So it doesn't matter. Sukshma Sharir can take whatever types of body. So there are millions of varieties of bodies are there. So many yonis they are called. Many varieties of yonis are there, and one passes through all of them depending on the karmas. So we keep on moving from one yoni to another yoni. And by God's grace, finally we get human birth. And in human birth alone, we have the power to act according to our choice. So if we follow the path as shown by the scripture, we will become free. So that Purusha, who is associated with Prakriti, is really speaking different from that Prakriti. All actions are happening in Prakriti. So all actions are happening in our body. See, when we are asleep, the body continues to function. It doesn't require our presence. That doesn't require our presence means our presence is required, but we don't do anything. For example, a person is in coma, the body continues to function. Sometimes a person remains in that for months together. And one fine morning comes out of it also and asks for breakfast. So this body continues to function even when I am not proactively involved in it. The breathing happens, the digestion, circulation of blood, everything happens. The growth also takes place. The hairs keep on growing, the nails grow. So just as the body, in my very presence, it functions. I am not the body, I am different from the body, but in my presence, the body functions. That itself, Bhagavan talks from his standpoint that Maya Adhyakshena Prakriti Suyate Sacharacharam. Even from Ishvara's this Prakriti, in his very presence, the Prakriti functions. Similarly, in my presence, the body functions, as well as the mind, the intellect, everything functions in my presence. So my presence is required. But all the activities are happening in the Prakriti, not in me. And this association is there out of, though it is beginningless time, this association with Prakriti is there because of ignorance only. Once I come to know myself as I am, I will become free of this association. I will become mukta. But at present, this association is there, and in my presence, all these activities keep happening in Prakriti. I am not doing anything. This we can very well understand even by analyzing our deep sleep experience. In deep sleep state, I become totally dissociated from my body, mind, intellect, etc. But still the body is existing, and when I wake up, I say that, oh, I slept very well, I was very happy, so I was also existing. So my existence doesn't depend on the presence or absence of this body, mind, intellect, etc. Also, that in deep sleep state, what was I doing? What were you doing? Were you watching something? No. Were you listening to something? No. Were you walking, talking? Nothing. So there was no connection with the organs of action, nor was there any connection with the organs of perception, nor was there any connection with our antakarana. We were not thinking, we were not feeling. All these things were not happening. Actually, all this antakarana, etc., were in a dormant state there. Then again, they become active. I come back to dream or in waking state, and again I identify with them. But even in the waking state, I, really speaking, am not doing anything. My only presence is there. This is a very subtle point, and this is very difficult to comprehend and difficult to notice also. Because when the body and all is moving or functioning, I feel I am moving or I am functioning. Like in the sky also, sometimes you see the clouds are moving and the moon is there, and you feel as though the moon is moving. We used to look at the moon and wonder, the moon is going so fast, but moon is still there. The clouds are moving in front, but the movement of the clouds are superimposed on the moon, and we feel the moon is moving. Shankaracharya ji also gives very beautiful example, like when we are sitting in a boat, and when we look at the banks, there are some trees, and when the boat is moving, the trees appear to be moving. We know very well the trees don't move unless municipality uproots it and takes it away. But trees don't move, but we see the trees moving. And also very strange, far away, we see the trees more stationary. Less movement is there, but closer to the boat, we see more movement. But really speaking, the trees are not moving, the boat is moving. So the movement of the boat is superimposed on the trees. It happens. Similarly, activities are happening in Prakriti, not in the Purusha, not in me. But because of not knowing the difference, because of avivek, not being able to differentiate, I feel, I assume, I misunderstand that I am doing the activity. So this goes on, and in my presence, all these activities keep on happening, and I get more and more bound to this karma. But a wise person is one who has recognized this difference. First of all, he recognizes the difference between the Purusha and Prakriti and comes to know that I am this Purusha. Comes to recognize this Purusha. And one who has recognized this becomes free. So this Purusha is akarma. Akarma means there is no karma happening there. There is no activity happening there. And this is the vision of a jnani. This is the vision of a realized person. That is being indicated here. Ki akarmani or karmani akarma yap pashet. A jnani is one who sees, who notices, who comes to recognize that akarma atma, even when all the activities are so-called happening. Others might superimpose activity on a Mahatma, but Mahatma by himself is not doing any activity. Through beautiful stories also this is presented in our Puranas and all. Like it was, like Bhagwan Krishna story is there, or like once the gopis, they came to know that Agastya Rishi, I think Agastya Rishi or Durvasa Rishi, Agastya maybe, has come there, and they went near the river, so they went to give him food. So the river was there and it was difficult to cross. So then they were wondering how to cross this river. And then Naradji came and he said that you just pray that if Bhagwan Krishna is brahmachari, that time he had married all those 16,000 or something. So if he is a brahmachari, then please give us way. So they prayed. They were quite shocked, but they prayed. And the Yamuna parted way and they crossed and they fed the rishi. And he was also very pleased. He ate everything and he was very pleased. Then they again wanted to cross back. Again the river was flowing. So the rishi then said that you pray that if I have always remained without eating, I have never eaten anything in my life, then please part way. He said, abhi to kitna kha liya unhone. But they prayed and Yamuna parted and they crossed over. What it means is, though he seemed to be eating, but that Atma is not eating anything. Though it seems to be Bhagwan has married so many, but the Atma is not married to anyone. There is no action happening in that self. Self is always free from all action. It is nishkriyaha. So one who can recognize, one who has recognized this, is the one who has gained knowledge. This is the knowledge which Bhagwan will be talking about later on also. But here he just hinted, presented this knowledge. Ki karmani akarma ya paschet and akarmani cha karma yaha sabuddhiman manusheshu. See, all of us, we have buddhi, but only those who gain this knowledge is called buddhiman. Just having buddhi doesn't make us buddhiman. Right? Just having a cricket bat doesn't make us a cricket player or something. Many people keep piano at home, but that doesn't make them a pianist. Similarly, buddhiman, one who has gained this knowledge, is called buddhiman. Manusheshu sayuktaha. He alone is well integrated and has fulfilled his life's vision and mission. Now, from the following few verses, Bhagwan is describing this man of realization, this enlightened person. How does he live in this world? That is being indicated in the following verses. He says, Yasya sarve samarambhaha kama sankalpa varjitaha jnanagni dagdha karmanam tamahu panditam buddhaha yasya sarve samarambhaha. Yasya sarve samarambhaha kama sankalpa varjitaha. Samarambhaha means all actions. For this jnani, all actions are seem to be happening. Action continue to happen in the Prakriti. See, when we gain that state of enlightenment, the world continues to exist, the body continues to exist, the antakarana continues to exist, and all the activities also continue to happen. Suddenly things don't disappear. They are there. But there is no identification with them, therefore the jnani becomes free. So, yasya sarve samarambhaha kama sankalpa varjitaha. All the activities which are seen in a jnani, in a realized master, samarambha, all the activities which begins, all the actions, they are kama sankalpa varjitaha. They are happening without, devoid of kama, that is desires, and devoid of sankalpa. See, this kama is called desire, and the root of this kama is sankalpa. Sankalpa means when we start thinking about the sense objects, when we start imagining the pleasures in sense objects, then slowly we develop attachment to them and we develop this kamna arises. We have seen in the second chapter also, ki dhyayato vishayams pumsaha sangasteshu upajayate sangat sanjayate kamaha. That we sit and start imagining, sankalpa it is called. Keep on creating fanciful imagination. And all our advertisements, all the things which they show on television and everywhere, they are meant to create this fanciful imagination. The more we imagine, the more we start getting attached to it. They show it in such a way that we feel, oh, if I get this dress, I will be the best looking person in my society. And when I walk, it will create such an image and impression. But when you actually buy that dress, first of all, it doesn't fit you. It is too small, the dress. But even if you somehow get fitted in, to again come out of the dress also becomes equally difficult. But when we look at it, we start imagining, and the more we imagine, the more we get attached to it. All our desires, many of our desires, are born from fanciful imagination. चुपचाप हम घर में नहीं बैठते. All our yatras, our shopping, our going for some restaurant to eat food, this, that, and all born from imagination. Somebody comes and tells, oh, that is very good restaurant there, and nice food is available, hot and nice, and music is also there, and sometimes dance is also there. So we start imagining, yes, it will be wonderful. Sometimes others force you to go there. So Sankalpa it is called. So all desires born from Sankalpa, and then those desires force a person into various types of activities. So for this Mahatma, there is no Sankalpa, because there is no imagination, or there is no desire for any happiness outside. See, when we gain the experience of our own self, we also experience the supreme bliss, which is my very nature. So when I have experienced that bliss, there will not be any desire for any type of pleasure or happiness anywhere else. It is like the whole place is flooded with fresh water. One will not go to the well to collect water, to fetch water. Similarly, when one is experiencing that supreme bliss, one will not desire for little pleasures from these objects. So there is no sankalpa arising in a Mahatma's mind. Therefore, there is no kamana born from this sankalpa. Therefore, there is no action happening motivated by kamana. Then how these actions are happening in a realized master? See, there is no sense of doership, but still we find his body moving, still we find his mind is functioning. How actions are happening in a realized master? Actually, one thing is that based on the body is born because to fulfill the prarabdha. So as long as the prarabdha is there, the body will continue to exist. Once the prarabdha is exhausted, the body falls down. Just like the fan. When you switch on the fan, it moves. When you switch off the fan, still it continues to move because of the momentum. Then slowly it comes to a stop. Similarly, even after gaining enlightenment, the body continues to exist till the prarabdha of the body lasts, and then it falls down. Again, the what you call the desires of the world around, and also the will of Ishvara keeps the body and the equipment of the Mahatma functioning. For the blessings of this whole world, the body continues to exist and then it drops off. So there is no sense of doership, and it is very difficult to comprehend the state of a realized master. So yasya sarve samarambaha kama sankalpa varjitaha. Why? Because jnanagni dagdha karmanam. All his karmas are burnt by the knowledge. What knowledge? Knowledge of seeing this Atma in all action, this non-doing, actionless, nishkriya Atma in all action. So having gained this knowledge, all karmas get burnt. Karmas lose their motivation. Karmas lose their strength. It's like a beej. Many times the example is given of a seed. If a seed is alive, you put it in the soil, it grows into a beautiful plant or a tree. But if you roast that seed, it looks like the seed. Keep it 1 minute in your microwave, it looks like the seed. But it will not grow to become a tree. Similarly, for a realized master, the karmas don't propel the master into what you call his desire. There are no desires to propel him into karma, and which gives rise to various types of results, because the knowledge had destroyed the very source, the very basis of all this. So jnanagni karma dagdha karmanam tam ahuhu panditam buddhaha. Such a person, the wise people call such a person pandita. Pandit means one who has gained the knowledge of Atma. Panda means Atma. one who has gained the knowledge of Atma is called Pandita. Though nowadays we call everyone Pandit. People call their cook Pandit. But it is a technical term. Sometimes cook might be a realized person also. That is a different story. But Pandit means a person who has gained the knowledge of Atma. So tam aho panditam buddhaha. More about this jnani, Bhagavan says in the next verse. Tyaktva karma phala sangam nityatrupto nirashrayah कर्मण्यभिप्रवृत्तोऽपि नैव किञ्चित् करोति सः त्यक्त्वा कर्मफलासङ्गम् Because of this knowledge of the self, the realized master has given up attachment to karma as well as karma phala. There is no attachment to action. Actions are happening, but there is no attachment to the action, nor there is any attachment to the results of action. By nature, whatever karmas are happening in the body, in the mind, they keep on happening. But he doesn't have any attachment to this action, nor there is any attachment to the results of action. See, sometimes a person performs this action as a seeker, as a sadhak, keeps performing action, and he gains that state of realization. So even after gaining the state of realization, the action continues. Like Raja Janak. Raja Janak was a great seeker, and he was a great king also. Very dharmic king. But as he was ruling his kingdom, he was doing his sadhana, and through this process itself, he gained that state of enlightenment. But he continued ruling the kingdom. As an enlightened being, he continued. But there was no sense of any doership, there was no attachment to karma, and there was no attachment to karma phala also. But outwardly, one could see Raja Janak continue to be the king, and you could see him walking, talking, holding meetings, and all those things was happening. But there was no attachment of any kind. So it's very difficult to comprehend the state of a jnani. So tyaktva karma phala sangam. So tyaktva, having given up karma, sangam and phala asangam, attachment to action as well as attachment to the result of action. Nitya truptaha. How come there is no attachment to action or the result of action? Because he has no purpose. He has nothing to gain from action or nothing to lose from not doing any action. Why? Because nitya truptaha, constantly, completely satisfied and content. That is our very nature. Complete satisfaction, complete contentment. Nitya trupti, nitya truptaha. And nirashrayaha. There is no dependence on anything. Nirashraya means no dependence on the results of action. He doesn't have any dependence ki ye hone se my work will be done, or I want this result, or I want that result. There is no dependence on any karma phala. Therefore is nirashrayaha, ashraya rahitaha, free from all support. No support of any kind is required for the self. So nityatruptaha nirashrayah karmani abhipravrittopi might be seen engaged in different types of action. As I said, that either because of what action he was doing before gaining that state of enlightenment, or maybe because of whatever reason the actions are not given up. So one may see a realized master continue to be engaged in action. Yeah. Is seen to be completely active. In Bhaja Govindam also Bhagavan says that this enlightened person are very different. What is it said? Yogarato va bhogarato va sangarato va sangavihinaha yasya brahmani ramate chittam nandati 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 eva. Sometimes one sees them in yoga, sometimes you see them in bhoga, sometimes you see them alone somewhere in the cave, sometimes one can see them among people, but wherever they are always established in that Brahma, and they are always in a state of bliss. Outwardly, they might be seen differently, because what we are seeing is their body. What we are comprehending is only the upadhis, not the Mahatma. We are not seeing him. We are not noticing him. So, karmani abhipravrittopi, though engaged in different types of action, naiva kinchit karoti saha, the Mahatma, the realized master, doesn't do anything. There is no action happening. Just like space, all activities are seem to be happening in space. Suppose an empty pot is there, let us say. If you look into the pot, there is space. Suppose you move that pot from one point to other point, what happens? What moves? Space moves or the pot moves? The pot moves. Space doesn't move. But one who has identified with the space inside the pot might feel the space is moving. It appears as though the space is moving, but space is not moving because space is all pervading. Even here we are seated in this, we are living on this earth, and it is surrounded by the space. It appears as though we are carrying our space with us, but space is not moving anywhere. Space is where it is. The earth is moving. Similarly, the body is moving, Atma is not moving. The mind is moving, Atma is not moving. So our realized master has recognized this. So even when he sees activities happening in the body, mind, etc., naiva kinchit karoti saha, he is really not doing anything. Naiva kinchit karoti saha. Further, Bhagavan continues describing the man of realization. Nirashiryata chittatma Takta sarva parigraha Shariram kevalam karma Kurvannapnoti kilbisham Nirashiryata chittatma Nirashihi, this realized person becomes free from all asha. Nirashihi. Nirashi means not dejected or depressed or something, but free from asha. Asha means expectation. An ignorant person living in this world, one has got lot of expectations. Expectations from our family members, expectation from our friends, relatives, expectation from the society, from the government, from the neighbors, from everyone. And usually, many of these expectations are not fulfilled. Some of them might be fulfilled, but most of them, majority don't get fulfilled. And when those expectations don't get fulfilled, we feel disappointed. But a realized person doesn't have any expectation from anything or anyone because he is complete in himself. The Atma is complete in itself. It doesn't require anything else for its completion. So therefore, is nirashihi. There is no expectation or no desire for anything. Even there is no attachment to his own body. If the body survives, very good. If it doesn't survive, it doesn't matter. There is no, just like our dress, or that angavastra sometimes we wear, whether it is there or it has fallen down, what does it matter? Ki farak penda. I am not that. Similarly, for a realized person, he has understood, he has experienced that this body is just like a outer, some shell like. It doesn't matter whether it exists or doesn't exist. So, nirashihi yatachittatma, having total control over his body as well as his mind. The mind as well as the body and the senses, etc., is totally under his control. Yatachittatma they are not going wild. They remain calm and peaceful. Yatachittatma. Takta sarva parigraha, one who has given up all hoarding, all accumulation. We accumulate things so that it will be required for us in future. Right? Little plastic bags also we keep collecting. And all those things. वो काम में आ जाएगा, रख देते हैं. And it never comes to any help. And when you require, they are not available. And finally on Diwali or something, you wipe out everything, throw it away. And then again, next year again, we start accumulating. So it's called parigraha. Parigraha means accumulating, holding on to things. And nowadays with all this electronic media, this, that and all, we hold on to things even in our computers and in our mobile and all. Photographs and all sorts of things are there. Memory एकदम full हो गई. Memory कहती है कि जरूर छोड़ दो मेरे को. So it's called parigraha. But for a realized master, there is no parigraha. See, even birds and animals and all, they don't have such parigraha like human beings they do. Birds freely go from one place to another. They go from one country to another country without carrying anything with them. And they reach their destination without the help of any GPRS or anything. No parigraha. So even a master, realized person, takta sarva parigraha. Shariram kevalam karma kurvan. See, in the previous verse, the realized master who was involved in various activities was indicated. But here, this person is totally free from all activities. Only minimum activities which are required just to maintain the body. If he is hungry, he eats. If he is thirsty, he drinks. And moves on in this world. Shariram kevalam karma it is called. Only for the sake of body. That too, if it happens, if things are available, if food is available, he eats. If water is available, he drinks. Shariram kevalam karma kurvan na apnoti kilbisham. Doesn't acquire any papa. Doesn't accumulate any sin. There is no... He is become free from not only from adharma, but from dharma also. See, adharma binds us, but dharma also binds us. Ultimately, one has to become free of both. But in the state of sadhana, we have to follow the path of dharma. But then all of them are given up and we surrender to our own self. Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja, Bhagavan says finally. So shariram kevalam karma kurvan na apnoti kilbisham. Only for the sake of the body, whatever required, it does. It doesn't acquire it in any sin because there is no sense of doership. When we have a sense of doership, then there is something called papa karma and punya karma. Papa and punya are there for the doer, but doer hi nahi hai. So there is neither papa nor punya, doesn't accumulate any sin. So shariram kevalam karma kurvan na apnoti kilbisham. And this sharir also of a realized master, it is up to the society, it is up to the world. If they want his sharira, if they want to communicate and interact and gain blessings of the Mahatma, they maintain it. कोई उनको खाना खिलाते हैं, कोई उनकी सेवा करते हैं. Otherwise he himself is not interested. If he is alive, very good. If the body falls down, very good. So shariram kevalam karma kurvan na apnoti kilbisham. Further, Bhagavan says, yadrichha labha santushtaha dvandvatito vimatsaraha samasiddhavasiddhau cha kritvapi na nibadhyate yadrichha labha santushtaha. Yadrichha labha santushtaha. This enlightened person, yadrichha labha santushtaha. He is happy, satisfied by whatever he gains without any effort or without desiring, without asking. For this sharir also, to maintain the body, food is required, clothing is required, shelter is required, water is required, air and all, whatever is required. Without asking if it comes, he takes it and he is happy with it. If it doesn't come, also he is happy with it. See, one may wonder whether such people are really there. They are there. In cities you will not find them maybe, but they are there. They are there. Our own Swami Taponji Maharaj was like that. Our Gurudev's Guru, Swami Taponji Maharaj, who used to stay in our Uttar Kashi, and he used to move around in the Himalayas. Nothing, he used to carry nothing with him. Without even chappals, he used to go move around in the Himalayas, and wherever he used to go, he used to feel hungry, he used to wait there, and somebody will come and give him food. And he will drink Ganga Jal and move around. A great realized master. So, yadrichha labha santushtaha. Santushtaha, satisfied with whatever comes for the maintenance of the body. He is satisfied by that. Once somebody came to Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi and he gave him a nice walking stick with a silver on top. So he says, this is walking stick. Ramana Maharshi said, very good, use it properly. He said, no, I have got it for you. He said, I don't require this. I have my own walking stick. So it will go on for many years. He said, no, when it gets bad, then you can use it. He said, that time we will see. Now it is functioning very well. And all the silver, this, that and all is not required. I can just pluck those, from the tree and make a nice walking stick, and that is how I am making it. So you keep your walking stick and let it be, I don't want. So for a realized master, all these fancy things are not required. Yadricha labha santushtaha, because that Atma is really full. It doesn't require anything. Only because of our identification with our body, mind, etc., we feel incomplete. There is no incompleteness in ourself. Dvandva atitaha. This realized master also goes beyond dvandva. Dvandva means pairs of opposites. They are also there, like sukha dukkha, labh hani, jay parajay, or shita and ushna, heat and cold, etc. They are there, but they don't agitate the realized master. He doesn't get agitated by heat and cold or by labh and honey. Labh and honey means if food comes, it's very good. If doesn't come also, it doesn't disturb. So dvandvatitaha vimatsaraha, free from all vaira, enmity towards the world, towards all beings. There is no jealousy and there is no enmity towards anyone. Nobody is his enemy. Everyone, he looks at everyone as his own self. Atmau pammena sarvatra samam pashyati Arjuna sukham va yadi va dukkham sayogi paramo mataha. In 6th chapter, Bhagavan says that a realized person looks at everyone as his own self. See, as I gave the example of Akash. Akash is different from all these objects which are there. We have our house, we have so many rooms. In all the rooms, Akash is there. But Akash by itself is not, really speaking, attached to all this. Akash is free. But we only identify with the walls and we feel that this is the space, this is bathroom, this is drawing room, this is living room and all. But Akash by itself is totally free of it. So once that Akash knows itself, it knows that I am same in everyone. I am there in the bathroom also, I am there in the living room also, I am there in that hall also, I am there outside also. In me all the stars and moon and sun is also there. I am everywhere. Similarly, Atma is like Akash. A realized person recognizes this Akashvat Atma. So there is no matsar with anyone. Vimatsaraha samassiddhava siddhavcha, remains same in siddhi as well as asiddhi, in achievement, in getting something, also as I said, only for his body, or not getting anything. If there is any siddhi or asiddhi, he remains same. Siddhava siddhavcha krutvapi na nibadhyate. Those seem to be acting. It appears for others that, oh, this Mahatma is walking, oh, he is eating, oh, he is drinking, he is sitting quietly, or he is resting. For others, he might be seen as acting, but there is no bondage in that action, because there is no sense of doership and no attachment to the result. So, kritvapi na nibadhyate. See, in all the chapters, Bhagavan talks about this realized person. In the 2nd chapter also we saw the Sthita Prajna Lakshanas. In 3rd chapter also it was one mention about this realized person. Now in 4th chapter. So every chapter, Bhagavan talks about this realized person so that they become inspiration for others. They become like inspiration for the seekers. Right? In every field, the one who has achieved the greatness becomes like an inspiration. So he is an inspiration for all of us. That without needing anything, we can be happy, peaceful and free. Further, he says, Gatas sangasya muktasya ज्ञानावस्थितचेतसः यज्ञायाचरतः कर्म समग्रं प्रविलीयते गतः संगस्य मुक्तस्य He says what happens to his karma. He says Gata Sangasya Muktasya. This Mukta, the liberated person who is free from all attachment. There is no identification, there is no attachment to Prakriti. Is free from all attachment. So Gata Sangasya Muktasya Jnanavastita Chetasaha, whose chetas, whose mind is established in this knowledge. Knowledge of what? Knowledge of that akarma atma. One who is constantly established in the knowledge of one's own self. See this, at present we are experiencing we are experiencing ourself. But whenever we think of ourselves, we always associate that self with our body, with our mind. But that I is really not associated with the body. That I is really that Supreme Brahma only. But we don't realize it. We keep on associating it with the body only. So constant practice is to constantly understand. Once we gain that knowledge, constantly associate that I with Brahma, that I am that Brahma. Mano buddhi hankara chittani naham, nacha shrotra jivve, nacha ghrana netre, nacha vyoma bhumir na tejo na vayuhu, chidananda rupa shivoham shivoham. I am not this, I am this. I am not this, I am this. This is the constant practice for a seeker. But for a realized person, there is no need to say, I am not this. He is always established in this. He is always established in that Brahma. There is no need for negating anything. For him, there is only that self alone is there. So, Jnana Avastita Chetasaha, whose Chetas is established in this highest knowledge. Jnana Avastita Chetasaha, for such a person, all actions are like yajna karma only. Yajna acharatak karma. All actions are nothing but worship. All actions which happen through his body is like a worship only, like a yajna. Yajna acharatak karma samagram praviliyate. All these karmas along with their results. Agram means the result. Karma phala, samagram, along with their results, the karmas, they get dissolved. Karmas, they don't give rise to any result. See, when an ignorant person dies, the gross body is left behind. And the subtle body, along with that, we go and occupy another body. So don't worry. Even after death, again another body is taken up. It goes on and on and on. But when a realized person, he drops this body, his subtle body also gets dissolved. There is no more taking birth again. So all his karmas gets dissolved. It doesn't give rise to more phala, more results. Therefore it is said, Yajna acharatak karma. All his karmas are like yajna, are like worship. In worship what happens? We offer everything to God. That is called worship. Worship means what? कि तेरा तुझको अर्पण क्या लगे मेरा. But many times we do worship and again take it back home. That is not worship. Worship means offering. Yat yat karma karomi tat tad akhilam Shambho tavaradhanam. Whatever karma I am doing, hey Shambho, it is your aradhana. I am offering it to you. Whatever karma I do, whatever dana I do, whatever tapa I do, all should be offered to God. That's called worship. In worship, the final offering is ourselves. Atma Nivedanam it is called. In bhakti, there are these 9 steps mentioned. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma Nivedanam. Atma Nivedanam means offering ourselves. Actually, that is the first step, but first step will be very difficult for us to do. So, offer all that thing which we have, सब कुछ देते 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 देते, then finally you offer yourself also. We are very happy to offer other things actually. नारियल भी हिला के देखते हैं पानी है कि नहीं, then we offer it to Bhagwan. Somewhere I heard, I don't know, some puja, somebody was telling, they had to offer some silver or something, or that other story is there. They had to offer milk to Bhagwan. They were thinking of having an abhishek. So they told all the villagers, bring 1 lota of milk and put it in this tank. Then we will do the abhishek. So everyone brought lota and they put it in the tank. And when they opened the tank, it was all water only. People thought, बाकी सब लोग दूध लेके आएंगे, मैं थोड़ा पानी ही डाल देता हूँ. But everyone thought like that and it was only water. So worship is nothing but offering. Therefore in Gita finally also Bhagavan says, "Oh Arjuna, you offer yourself to me." It's called Atma Nivedanam. So first we have to offer our karma phala. You then offer the karma. Then you offer the kartrutva bhavana. Then you offer yourself. Offer everything to Bhagwan. So yajna acharata karma. All his karmas are like offering, like puja, like worship. Samagram praviliyate. Everything get dissolved. So what is this yajna? What exactly you mean by his karma is like yajna? What attitude, what type of knowledge, what type of vision does this realized master have that all his karmas become like yajna? So his vision is presented in the following verse. This is the most famous, one of the most famous verse. And we chant this before eating food also. So you must have heard. So let us chant. Brahmarpanam Brahma Havihi Brahmagno Brahmana Hutam Brahmaiva Tena Gantavyam Brahma Karma Samadhina Brahmarpanam Brahma Havihi Brahmagna Brahmana Hutam Brahmaiva Tena Gantavyam Brahma Karma Samadhina. For a realized person, all the karmas get dissolved. Why? Because he sees only Brahma everywhere, in everything. There is only Brahma Darshan. What is Brahma? Brahma is that supreme reality. In the Upanishad, Brahma is described as the very source of all this creation. Janmadhyasya yataha, from whom all this world has come into existence, in whom the world remains, and in whom the world again dissolves, is called Brahma. Brahma is indicated as Satyam Jnanam Anantam, as supreme reality, is of the nature of knowledge, and it is infinite. And Ananda Swarup, of the nature of bliss. But Brahma cannot be seen through the senses. You cannot see Brahma. There is no Shabda, there is no Sparsha, there is no Rasa, Rupa, Gandha in Brahma. So through the senses we cannot see Brahma. Through our mind, intellect, we cannot comprehend Brahma. How do we know Brahma is there? Scriptures are saying it is there. But how do we know really Brahma is there? Scriptures say that same Brahma is experienced by all of us as Aham, as I. What you experience as I is the experience of Brahma only. हृदय कुहर मध्ये केवलम ब्रह्म मात्रम अहम 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 इति साक्षात आत्मरूपेण भाति. Bhagwan Sri Ramana Maharshi says that Brahma, which is indicated in the scriptures, is experienced in our heart as aham, aham, aham. But it is said aham cannot be experienced, it is beyond the senses, but we experience that as aham. See that Brahma alone is present when we are in deep sleep state. When we get cut off from our body, mind, intellect, we remain as Brahma. इसलिए वहाँ पर ना कुछ हम देख सकते हैं, ना कुछ सूंघ सकते हैं, ना कुछ सोच सकते हैं. But when we wake up, we say that I was there. We identify with that, we consider that as I. So it is recognized as I. So that I, the real nature of that I is Brahma. The Upanishads say that Aham, this real Aham is Brahma only. Aham Brahmasmi. I am Atma Brahma. This Atma which you are experiencing as I is really that Brahma. So through the process of Karma Yoga, Upasana, through the path of Shravan, Manan, and finally Nididhyasan, one can realize this Brahma. So this Mahatma who has realized this Brahma, though he seemed to be functioning through the body, he seems to be looking at this world, he knows through his enlightened state, he knows that everything is Brahma. He looks at everything as Brahma. See, like, again to give an example of gold and gold ornaments. Suppose you don't recognize gold, let us say. You don't know what is gold. I mean, that may not be a good example because you know what is gold. It's for the sake of example. You see different types of ornaments. You recognize ornaments. You know one ornament from the other ornament. But you don't know that it is made up of gold. So you will say it is bangle, this is a ring, this is a necklace. But then I say, oh no, but this is gold. It is golden ring, golden bangle, golden necklace. So now you know two things, gold, golden, and necklace also. So if you just keep the vision of gold, you will know that everything is gold only. If you keep that vision in gold, you will know, you will see that gold in all the ornaments. But if you keep only the vision of ornament, you will not see one ornament into another ornament. A ring is not in the bangle is not in the necklace, but gold is there everywhere. So those who have gold vision will see gold in all the ornaments. Similarly, now also this whole world is pervaded by Brahma only, but we don't have that Brahma vision. A realized person who has got this Brahma vision, he sees Brahma everywhere. That Brahma alone is called Ram or Krishna. So in Bhakti literature, like Tulsidas ji says, Siya Rama mai sab jag jani, karahu pranam jori jugapani. I see the whole world as Siya Ram. Here in Gita later on, Bhagavan will say, Vasudevas sarvamiti. The realized person looks at this world and sees that Vasudeva Bhagavan everywhere. Vasudevas sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabha. So for an enlightened person, all karmas get dissolved. Why? Because he sees Brahma in every aspect of this karma. What are the every aspect? So here the whole description of all the karma is given in the form of yajna. In yajna what happens? We have this fire, yajna kunda is there, and we have the kindle the fire, and we have the ladle with which we pour ghee and we pour different ahutis and all, and the person is there who is performing yajna. So this is a ritual, like a puja. So taking this as an example, it is shown that all the actions of Mahatma is like a yajna, is like a puja. For him, every aspect of that karma is Brahma only. What is it? Brahma Arpanam, that ladle with which we offer, for him it is Brahma only. He sees it as Brahma. Brahmarpanam, Brahma Havihi, the Havi which is offered in the fire, that is also Brahma. Brahma Agnau, the fire is also Brahma. Brahmana Hutam, the one who is offering is also Brahma. Brahmaiva tena gantavyam, and what is the goal? Goal is also Brahma. Brahma eva tena gantavyam. Brahma karma samadhina. By whom? By one who sees everything as Brahma. For whom all karmas, everything has become Brahma, his goal is also Brahma. See, like for example, we make like I read in the newspaper, they made Ganesh Bhagwan with chocolate. That's a good idea actually. पूजा वूजा करके फिर फर्स्ट क्लास गणपति को खा सकते हैं. Otherwise you pollute the river and all. So चॉकलेट का गणपति बना दिया. So चॉकलेट के गणपति, चॉकलेट का चूहा, चॉकलेट का मोदक, चॉकलेट के आसन, चॉकलेट का छत्र, everything is chocolate. And nice, what you call, food colors. So don't have to worry about health and all. So Sukhakarta, Dukhakarta, Varta, Vignachi and all, 2, 3, 4, 5 दिन उनकी पूजा, and then you can do Visarjan. Visarjan puja you can do when we do Visarjan, because before puja we invoke God in that idol. And then we do, what you call, we send God away also. Udvasanam. And once Bhagwan goes away, it is chocolate. Because Ganesh Bhagwan has gone. So chocolate you can eat. So when you are worshipping, then Ganesh is there, Chuha is there, Modak is there, everything is different. And you are worshipping. But when you have the chocolate drishti, Chuha is also chocolate, Ganpati is also chocolate, Laddu is also chocolate, Asan is also chocolate, Chhatra, Chamara, everything is chocolate only. Similarly, for a realized person, everything is Brahma. His karma is Brahma, karma phala is Brahma, all his actions are Brahma only. Therefore, the actions don't bind him. There are no divisions of any kind. There are no, what you call, discrimination, separation of any kind. Everything has become Brahma for this person. So, Brahmaiva tena gantavyam, Brahma karma samadhina. More we will see tomorrow. Now we will sit and meditate. So close your eyes. And bring your attention in the present moment. So many activities are happening around you. There is the world outside, made up of Akash, Vayu, Agni, Jal, Prithvi. Lot of activities are happening in the world outside. You are not doing anything, but the world is acting. world is functioning, world is going on and on. Your presence or absence as a jiva doesn't make any difference for the world. Whether you live or die, the world will go on and on. But your body remains alive because of you. In your presence, the body functions. The circulation of blood, the breathing, digestion, all the activities happen in the body in your mere presence. In your presence, the senses function. The mind, the intellect, the memory functions. You are mere presence. There is no activity in you. You are infinite. The body also cannot limit you. You are pure knowledge. You can know the presence and absence of the body. Your pure existence. So even when all these activities are happening, recognize yourself as the non-acting Atma. Pure, unchanging Atma. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.